Donnie Horvath to cross up.
Yep.
And the lights are off on the Oxford Plains Speedway pace truck. She'll be heading for cover. Brian Roby, pole sitter, your winner just about a month ago at the Wiscasset Speedway. Anthony Bello, fresh off his first career SK Light Modified win down at Stafford Motor Speedway just one night ago. Fields looking good by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. The green flag is out here on the night before the Oxford 250 for the Modified Racing Series. And what a start it is for Anthony Bello, who's eager to get some laps out in front. As Roby, meanwhile, he's in a battle for second position with Salicardi dead even at the line for second position.
They get close down there, Connor, into turn number one, but Accardi able to go into second. As we see a little bit further back, a battle for seventh between Anthony Nocella and Joey Dwyer, and just in front of them, a battle between the 93 of George Sherman and Donnie Lashwell. That's for fifth.
Boy, Accardi had a bit of a moment. It's almost got down to the curves. These cars, they ride very, very low, much lower even than the late models out there for both PASS and ACT. These are cars that you do not want to get up on the curb, as Roby struggling right now to stay on the inside, as Stu McCormick now is putting the pressure on for the second position. But now Anthony Bello kind of backing up a little bit and allowing Roby to come back on the outside.
Well, you know, if you think back to that MRS race at Wiscasset Speedway a few weeks ago, you know, the announcers hardly even mentioned Brian Roby, who's going up to the lead now. And then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere and was able to take the lead with about 15 laps to go, and it wasn't even close at the finish.
Yep, it was definitely a big surprise in that one, as Accardi now going to the outside. Power move to get past Bello. So Bello good out of the gates, but losing some steam here over the opening laps as they come down to the line. Accardi on the attack here as we complete 6 laps. Roby tries to shut the door. Nearly a collision between the two. Here comes Sal Accardi to the inside. Accardi, he's looking for his first MRS win here tonight.
Right now I see a big gap amongst these top 6 back to the 7th place machine of Joey Dwyer. And there with Joey Dwyer, you've got Anthony Nocella and Andy Shaw. What's the point I'm trying to make? I think all of these veteran drivers right now are trying to save something for the end of this race. They're not in a hurry. You see them, it doesn't even look like they're running really hard right now. So I think this is a plan by those veteran drivers to, you know what, let those guys go race it out amongst themselves, and you know, we'll be able to get right by them here in the closing laps of the race.
One thing we haven't talked about is that Oxford, it has an abrasive surface, but it's especially abrasive to these modified tires, these 15-inch wide tires on the modifieds. So this is definitely a tire-saving tactic that a lot of these drivers have employed here. But I'll tell you what, though, Anthony Nocella, he's not saving right now. He's trying to go after Joey Dwyer for the 7th position, make some hay up there on the outside.
One thing I've seen, and this reminds me somewhat of the Smart Modifieds that race down south, actually racing tonight at Dillon Motor Speedway on Speed51.tv. I've seen this strategy play out in those Smart Modified races that are usually anywhere from 75 to 100 laps. The problem you get is when you get into a long run, or say you don't have a caution, you know, these drivers right now are already a half track behind the leaders. You run the risk of losing a lap.
And unlike the Smart Tour, these guys don't get a midway break. So this race, it could run 75 straight laps here. So that's the risk that they are running right now. But tell you what, no risk for Salicardi right now, as he has a 2.1 second lead out in front. But the battle right now still for the number 7 position between Joey Dwyer and Anthony Nocella, 2 great winners in their respective sports. Nocella, a former champion here on the Modified Racing Series. Joey Dwyer, a former PASS national champion. Of course, the PASS National Championship taking place at a handful of tracks, both up here in the Northeast and also down the South.
Yeah, Joey Dwyer in that year, he won the PASS National Championship, had a great race with the late, great Florida driver Joe Boyd down at Auburndale Speedway, and won that race, and had a win at Greenville Pickens, ran well here, of course, at his tracks here in New England, and was able to take home the past national championship.
We got a change for the third position as George Sherman's been able to scoot his way on by Brian Roby. So Roby, maybe he's gone to saving some tires as well, as we see Nocella now edging out Dwyron for the 7th position. But these guys, though, 2 by 2, they look like they're battling, but they're kind of saving. They're just, everybody's on top of each other. Well, there's not a lot of room out there.
I will tell you, Connor, looking at timing and scoring, and I wondered it on the racetrack because visually it looked like these cars were a little bit faster. Anthony Nocella, Joey Dwyron, and Chris Bolton all just turned their fastest laps. They have kicked it up right now.
And they are closing the gap on Donnie Lashua up in front as we see Bolin trying to clear Andy Shaw. And you see up in front there. Meanwhile, though, Stu McCormick, he's closed the gap. 3 wides as Joey Dwyron goes past both Lashua and Nocella. So a lot happening here at once as the lead battle closes up. And Dwyron with a great 3-wide dive to take over the 6th position.
But look at this battle for the lead here between Sal Accardi and the 04 of Stu McCormick. They are almost on the same straightaway as those cars that we've been watching from 6th on back. That's how far out front Sal Accardi and Stu McCormick are right now, and I think that's the reason some of those drivers picked it up as some contact there between Stu McCormick and Sal Accardi down into turn 1.
Okay, my heart just jumped a couple of inches right there. My goodness gracious.
I think everybody back home's heart did as well.
Yep, so these guys, they are going at it as McCormick, very aggressive dive there, and he's able to get the lead with 52 laps to go. Meanwhile, they are side by side, and this pack has been able to catch up to Brian Roby in the 4th position as Anthony Bellis falling back into their clutches now. Dwyron the advantage. Meanwhile, Anthony Nocella is buried back in traffic.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy going on right now amongst these cars in this pack here. Brian Roby in the 25 had opened up, and again, the top 6 cars at the beginning of the race had opened up about a straightaway advantage over where Joey Dwyron and these cars were running from 7th on back, when now Joey Dwyron has just moved the 16 car up into 4th. And they are closing the gap on those up front, but again, they have got a huge deficit. I mean, right now, Joey Dwyron is 11 seconds behind the leader, Stu McCormick.
Joey Dwyron driving for Wright Pearson, who is a car that he drives off and on for throughout the Northeast in various super late model competition here. So they've had that modified sitting around collecting dust for about the last year or so. They had intended to run it last year, but of course COVID happened as we got a yellow flag.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the caution is out for. The caution out here with
laps complete, 47 to go when they hit the line. Stu McCormick, Sal Accardi will lead him down, looking for the green flag. Oh, a bit of a twitch from Accardi, but he's able to recover quick and stay with McCormick there. Meanwhile, George Sherman and Joey Dwyron breathing down their necks as McCormick pulls out a bit of an advantage, but George Sherman, he's got his hands full for 3rd position with Joey Dwyron.
Well, how does it play now here with 46 laps to go? We're still not to halfway. We saw some of those drivers pacing themselves. It looks like Joey Dwyron has decided to go look at this back behind Donnie Lashua, and C.J. Bolton make it 3 wide to go around George Sherman.
I think you got some guys that are not going to pull the trigger this early. There's still a long way to go. 30 laps down, 45 to go. I think at least until the halfway, but I'll tell you what, though, Joey Dwyron, he is not waiting around. Neither is Anthony Nocella. I'll tell you what, C.J. Bolton, he's making a good show of it here on the outside. He's going after Dwyron for the 3rd position, and now he's going after Sal Accardi. Boy.
3 wide, here they go. You saw Dwyron take a peek down to the inside of Sal Accardi, thought better about it. But that worked out great for C.J. Bolton. And here comes Anthony Nocella into car number 92. He gets to run on the outside around Dwyron. He's going to go around Accardi. And now Dwyron again will look down on the inside. He'll get around Sal Accardi and continues his battle right now with Anthony Nocella for 3rd.
Dwyron rubbing the left side Nerf bar of Nocella as we see Lashua getting by Accardi behind them. as Dwyron, he's going to hold on to that third position. Man, Alan, it's really hard to say who is trying to fool who out there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I still think, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, there's some cars out there that are holding something back, and I still don't think Joey Dwyer and Anthony Nocella are showing everything they've got, and the entire field better hope that Stu McCormick, the leader, is not holding anything back, because if he is, you could go ahead and give him the trophy, because he is checked out right now with 39 laps to go for the MRS Modifieds.
So Nocella, he's got a little pressure from behind from Donnie Lashua. Nocella, though, he's kind of got his eyes 1 second to the back bumper and then another second out in front. As
you know what that is?
That's the drone shot.
Yep, that's the Speed51.TV drone with a look down through turns 1 and 2 here at Oxford Plains Speedway. And as I mentioned, you're going to see some views of Oxford Plains Speedway on our coverage this weekend that you've never seen before, as we're at the halfway point here for the MRS Tour Modifieds.
Stu McCormick, 2.5 seconds over Chris Bullen, 3.3 seconds over Joey Dwyer in the third position right now, as we see Brian Roby trying to make his way back forward. He's to the outside of Anthony Bello for the battle of 6th and 7th. As Joey Dwyer closing the gap to CJ Bolin for the second position. Everybody's kind of starting to come back together. Is another shot from the drone here above the turn 1 grandstands. Absolutely brilliant view here as we got a battle for the second position. Dwyer to the inside of CJ Bolin as they come back to complete lap number 41.
And a great Saturday crowd here at Oxford Plains Speedway. Of course, the largest sporting venue in the state of Maine. And we're going to see probably the largest sporting event in the state of Maine this year with the Oxford 250 tomorrow. This great race right now continuing here between Joey Dwyer and the 92 of Anthony Nocella. That's for second. Nocella getting a good run right now up on the outside. But here comes Dwyer back on the bottom.
You know what? I was halfway. I think Nocella has decided it's time to go, and he is going for it, as he is now, I think he's going to leave Dwyer in the dust here. But I'll tell you what, keep your eyes on Brian Roby. He's got something for these guys. And
I think you're right. I've been watching Brian Roby here a little bit, and I believe you're right.
And another guy, you know what, I'm going to keep my eye on is the 47 of Jacob Perry, as we see him actually making a dive inside of Rob Ricciardi for the 9th position from our drone shot.
Yep, that's the white car down on the bottom, the points leader, Jacob Perry, who, again, has just not really shown the speed here this weekend at Oxford Plains Speedway, but able to work around the Rob Ricciardi car.
And now he's going after Tony Rickey for 8th position. So, yeah, I think Jacob Perry, they've made some adjustments to that number 47 car, and he has decided it's time to go. As he makes quick work of Ricky, now he's going right after CJ Bolin for position number 7.
Yep. He has definitely turned up the wick a little bit there on the car number 47. He'll take a look at the inside of CJ Bolton. And this is the best by far that we've seen Jacob Perry run all day.
So you see Ricciardi going by Tony Rickey back behind there for the 9th position. Perry, here he comes. Oh, Bello throws a bit of a block, though, this time going to turn number 3, but he slides up just a little bit. Give the position to Jacob Perry. He is up to 6th as we have 26 laps to go. We're just about 2/3 of the way through.
Right now, Anthony Nocella closing in on the leader, Stu McCormick. The advantage for McCormick, just 1.6 seconds. That's down from what his lead was prior to Anthony Nocella working up into second. There is the leader.
And they're coming up on traffic. George Sherman, Sal Accardi about to go a lap down. We were wondering if they used their stuff up too early. I think we've got our answer, Alan. But I'll tell you what, though, Stu McCormick has been able to last a fairly long time, but can he last against Anthony Nocella? He's having a lot of trouble here in lap traffic as it allows Nocella to close in, but now Nocella will have to deal with the likes of the two number 93s out there.
Those lap cars cost Stu McCormick 1 second. Anthony Nocella gained on that last lap. Now McCormick may be able to pull out just a little bit as Nocella had to work through some traffic, and no, he shortens it up by a tenth again. Now he's just a half second behind as he and Joey Dwyer continue to close in. I'm not going to have to give you the numbers anymore. You can see it. There is the leader, Stu McCormick, with 21 laps to go, and Anthony Nocella and Joey Dwyer are there.
It is on. Nocella has gotten all the way back to the front, but he has his hands full still with Joey Dwyer as Stu McCormick is denying Nocella a look to the inside. We have 20 laps to go here in this 75-lap Modified Racing Series feature. Dwyer almost makes it 3 wide as Nocella pulls even on the outside. They come back to the line, give the lead to Anthony Nocella, the former MRS champion.
But one thing you were not right about, Connor, is Anthony Nocella driving away from Joey Dwyer. Dwyer's followed him right up there. He's right back in behind him now. He'll move around Stu McCormick for second. And at least right now, it looks like this race is going to be down to Anthony Nocella and Joey Dwyer.
Dwyer, he might not know much about tour-type modifieds, but he knows Oxford. He knows how to save the tires, and he has saved them enough to hang with Anthony Nocella. Has he saved enough to be able to get the lead from Nocella? Tell you what, Alan, it's very unusual to see Joey Dwyer with a rookie stripe on the back of his car, but he is not driving like a rookie tonight. He is really doing a great job with that number 16 modified as he hangs with Nocella.
He got up on that curve just a little bit at the exit of turn number 2, and I'm going to tell you right now, a dark horse that I have for tomorrow is Joey Dwyer. He's been really good every time he's driven that car number 21 this year. He's been good here at Oxford, and I would not be one bit surprised if you don't see Joey Dwyer in victory lane at the end of tomorrow's Oxford 250. But you know what? We may see him in victory lane before that. 14 laps to go here for the MRS Modifieds.
What a battle. One of the best in modified racing New England against one of the best Oxford Plains Speedway drivers here in the Modified Racing Series. Nocella pulls out just a little bit, but they're coming up on the lap car of George Sherman once again. The tires have gone away as we see those two are able to get by, but there is a battle in front of them as Bella works to the outside of Salacardi.
And right now, Joey Dwyer is going to have to stay right here with Anthony Nocella.
Here he comes.
He's going to look up to the outside, trying to use that lap car as a pick.
Brave move by Nocella, is able to squeeze his way past Bello in the middle.
That was a smart move by Joey Dwyer, but it was a smart move by Anthony Nocella too. He knew he had to power it up there in the middle. Whether he wrecked or not, he was going to win or lose this race right there if he let Joey Dwyer get by him.
Going to be 10 laps to go when they come back around. Meanwhile, Jacob Perry, he's caught and passed Brian Roby. He's in the process of passing Donnie Lashua, and he's already looking to get by Stu McCormick.
This right now, the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 93 machine is a lap down, and looks like Lashua is going to get caught up behind the 93 of George Sherman.
And McCormick gets caught up behind a Cardi. That allows Perry to get to the inside. So Jacob Perry's going to have a shot at a podium finish, but now he gets caught behind McCormick, or Salacardi rather, as there's contact between the two. Meanwhile, the bell is back on for the lead as Joey Dwyer, he thought about going by Anthony Nocella, but he was defeated by the lap car of Ryan Doucette.
Watching that battle for 3rd on back. And I'll tell you that Jacob Perry was wearing out the bumper on that lap car in front of him.
It is far from over, though, Alan.
Joey Dwyer is sticking right there with Anthony Nocella. Gained some ground there through turns 3 and 4 as they come up on the 60 car of Andy Shaw. Surprising to me that car didn't run better tonight here in the MRS Modifieds.
As Shaw, it's been a tough night for him. He spun in the past modified feature, And he goes left down the MRS. Meanwhile, we are down to the final 5 laps to go. Nocella's car, I don't think he can hold the inside as well as he did about 10 laps ago, Alan, but Dwyer, he is keeping that car planted to the inside. But when I say that, it kind of steps out from him just a little bit.
Well, there's 2 lap cars in front of the leaders. I don't think they're going to catch those lap cars over on the lower right side. You see Jacob Perry, now he's able to take that 3rd spot away from Stu McCormick. 3 laps to go, and Joey Dwyer's in the tire tracks. Anthony Nocella into turn 1.
Here we go. Hold your breath. Less than 3 laps to go. On the night before the Oxford 250, Dwyer moves in again on Nocella. Nocella blocks the inside. Dwyer, he taps the inside curbing just a little bit. Now he goes to the outside, maybe trying to set up the crossover maneuver, but it's going to cost him a little bit. Nocella pulls away here as they come to the white flag.
I think Joey Dwyer might be a little bit quicker now. A lot of lap traffic in front of the leaders as they work around the 293 cars. Here comes the 27 machine in front, and Anthony Nocella. Whoa.
There's a yellow flag.
Yeah, we got a caution here.
Finish coming up here at Oxford Plains Speedway for all the marbles for the Modified Racing Series on the night before the Oxford 250.
So finishing up this NASCAR 21 ignition caution as we get ready for what may be the final restart of the night for the Modified Racing Series Modifieds. Anthony Nocella on the inside of row number 1, Joey Dwyer on the outside, and you've got that 47 of Jacob Perry down low. They both spun their tires. Look at this. Lasher won the 17. He gets into Joey Dwyer, and around goes Dwyer.
And he keeps it going. Race is still green as, nope, the yellow lights come on. As we're going to have another restart coming up here. So, Nocella, Jacob Perry, the front row. Brian Roby, and hey, how about a shout out to Robert Chardy up in 4th and David Arute in 5th here in his Tour Type Modified debut as they come back for the green.
Yeah, David Arute doing a great job. Here comes Nocella and Jacob Perry. Let's see this time a much better restart for Anthony Nocella. He didn't spin the tires at all that time as they go back down into turn number 1. Right now, Jacob Perry not able to get his car down on the bottom. Now he'll get down in front of Brian Roby as the white flag is out. 1 more lap to go this time.
Nocella, it was a picture-perfect restart, but Perry's able to collect himself. He pulls up right to the back bumper of Anthony Nocella. Nocella, though, able to keep a 1-car length advantage. Perry, 1 more try. It's not going to be enough. Anthony Nocella is going to take down the win here at Oxford Plains Speedway in the Modified Racing Series.
Checkered flag out, and Anthony Nocella wins, as Connor mentioned. Jacob Perry will finish in 2nd, Brian Roby in 3rd, David Arute in 4th, and Rob Ricciardi in 5th. And I got to think that maybe any chance that Jacob Perry had to get to Anthony Nocella was lost whenever he couldn't get that car down to the bottom on the initial restart going down into turns 1 and 2. And that allowed Brian Roby to get down to his inside, and Anthony Nocella was able to pull away as he will take a lap here with the checkered flag around Oxford Plains Speedway. Final event of the night coming up. The American Canadian Tour are going to go for 125 laps here at Oxford Plains Speedway, and they'll put another race in their history here at Oxford Plains Speedway, which goes back a long, long time. Well-earned victory for Anthony Nocella as he'll pull around and he'll pull into victory lane this time. Let's take it down trackside now to Connor Sullivan. He'll get a word with our winner.
Big smile from Anthony Nocella. A hard-fought battle as he congratulates the crew. Let's get him around here. Anthony, what a whale of a battle. All those restarts. Angie had the March to the Front. Before that, talk about your night.
Yeah, I got to thank all my guys for coming here, working hard. We had a few problems during the day, but all in all, a pretty fast car all day. I got to thank them, my father, my uncle, for supporting this. But, yeah, that was a heck of a battle there. We've won here before a few times, but that's probably the hardest I've had to work for one here. And, Joey, especially his first time in one, he had a real good run there. Really made me work for it there. And, it would have been close on those restarts. I don't know what happened that time for him. But, all in all, we had a real good car and happily finally get a win with this new car. And I just want to thank MRS and Mayberries for having us here. A little bit of haul for us up here, but, always puts on great racing and fun place to come to.
Well, it was a busy week for Anthony Nocella. He gets the job done here on the night before the Oxford 250. He's your victor for the Modified Racing Series.
Thanks, Connor, as he celebrates down in Victory Lane. The American Canadian Tour teams start to bring their cars and equipment across the racetrack for their 125-lapper. A look at our final results here. Anthony Nocella takes the win over Jake